What is up, everybody? Whoa. What is up, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsyJr. YouTube. Go ahead, drop in the chat your name, where you're from, who you represent. Your name, where you're from, and who you represent. I can almost guarantee I understand who most of you represent. And we're live. We're live right now. I am here. Let me check out some of these. If he goes, you guys are starting early. If he goes, he goes. Just like if the recruits sign, they sign. In either case, you will know. Yeah. Let's get into what we're talking about. We're talking about Coach Prime. We're talking about Colorado. We're talking about what he had to say today to the media, to you guys, to me, to us, to all of us. So sit back, relax. This video is brought to you by our good friends at 15freight.com. 15freight.com. If you like this hat, this big Grambling hat, or this nice JSU hat, go over to 15freight.com. Use the promo code HBCU Love for 15% off. Now, sit back, relax, and buckle up your seatbelts. We're here to talk about it on the Victory Formation Sports Show right after the bumper. What is good people? What is good people? I think we got the audio issues fixed up. And I want to hear from you guys tonight. I'm going to get off what I have to get off first, and then we're going to take calls. Remember, 727-731-8723, 727-731-8723. Yeah, let me know your name, what city you're from, and who you represent. Oh, let me see what you're talking about. It says, hey, he's being honest. We all know he is going to get offers. It's not anything new. You have a point to that, Rochelle. You have a point. We got Devon in here. Shout out to Devon. Shout out to Mr. G. Shout out to everybody. It says Las Vegas in the building. I work with some football players. Okay. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. So, for those who are living under a rock, those who don't understand what is taking place right now, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. It was reported that he was offered the Colorado job over the weekend. And there was reports, and at first it was just reports. Shout out to the MEAC in the chat. Shout out to Russell and the MEAC in the chat. And at first it was just reports. It was just rumors. That's all it was. And that's how I addressed it. I was like, yo, that's rumors that make sense. You know, he's hot. They've won 22 games in 2 years. He's went undefeated in the SWAC the last 2 years. His team is playing for the second consecutive SWAC championship in 2 years. All of that sounds good. All corn in the chat. Shout out TT2. All corn in the chat. And so now, obviously, there's jobs that are popping open and that have interest in Coach Prime and have interest in what he had to do. And it was all, at the time, it was just a bunch of rumors until someone, shout out to Mr. Kendrick. Mr. Kendrick, let me make sure I'm going to play it from the right spot. Mr. Kendrick asked Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, about the rumors. And here is what he had to say. Let me go ahead and play this. This is coming via the pregame show. Shout out to the pregame show. But this is what Coach Prime had to say. Let's take a listen. Hold on. Oh, they're going to play a stupid ad. Let me, hold on. Let me go ahead and make sure this ad plays first. And let me make sure, because we want to go right to the source. We want to go here right from Coach Prime himself. We don't want to misconstrue any words. I don't want anybody saying I put words in his mouth or none of that. So, you know, we're going to let him tell it how it is. We're going to hear right from him. Okay, boom. Let that go. And let me know if you can hear, because we had some audio issues earlier today, and we don't want that to happen again. So let me know if you can hear the audio. Here is Coach Prime via the pregame show. This is fair use. So let's take a listen.
Yeah, Coach. Over the weekend, Pete Thamel with Fox Sports reported that Colorado had made you an offer to become their next head coach. Mm-hmm. How true is that report, and is there any mutual interest between you and the school?
Yeah. First of all, I really like how Kendrick asked that question. He didn't sugarcoat it. He said, how true is it? And what are your comment on it? Love a straightforward question that gets a straightforward answer from Deion Sanders. Let's continue listening.
Definitely, the report is true. They're not the only ones. The report is true. I'm not going to sit on here and tell all my business, but they're not the only ones. And I would be a liar if I told you they didn't. You know they did. I know they did. Everybody there know they did. So it is what it is. That's not my focus right now. My focus is to win and to be dominant, and then to not even to go on to the Celebration Bowl. My focus is right here in this beloved stadium to be dominant on Saturday. That's my focus. And
I love that answer. He tells you straight up. He doesn't deny the reports, doesn't say what position he's leaning or anything. He just said, I'm focused on the game, man. I'm focused on Saturday. I'm focused on the SWAC championship game. And, you know, let the chips fall where they may. Let's continue listening.
That keeps the main thing. And everyone that knows me know that about me. I have an innate ability to focus and keep the main thing.
As a follow-up, how do you not let these reports distract you from preparing for each week and preparing the team to play?
Well, to someone else that hadn't been that dude, it's intoxicating. I've been praying for a long time, dog.
This answer is interesting to me. Very interesting.
Attention ain't nothing new to me. Like, come on. This is. I'm not being braggadocious or whatever. That's a wonderful word, isn't it? Braggadocious. Just came up with that. I think I said that a few weeks ago. But this ain't new to me. Being in the spotlight ain't new to me. I got to just turn that light and channel it to my kids, channel it to my coaching staff, channel it to the support staff. We've been in the spotlight for a long time individually. It's time to bring us collectively. And that's what I've been doing ever since I touched foot on this campus and into HBCU football.
I thought that answer, especially the end of it, was interesting. He has been primed for a long time. Shout out to you guys in the chat. Continue to hit that thumbs up button. He has been Deion Sanders. He has been primed for a long time. All of that very true. But his team hasn't been primed for a long time. That is where I thought there was a difference. So let's skip ahead to when I asked him, because I that's what I was thinking when he said that. I was like, yo, you're right. It's easy for you to compartmentalize and easy for you to deal with because you've been dealing with it for, Deion Sanders has been famous since he's 20, 21 years old. He's in his mid-50s now. So he's been famous for longer than he wasn't famous in his life at this point. And so getting a group of young men to not read the Twitter headlines or to not see on their phone or the bottom of the screen at ESPN to see that their coach has Colorado offers. How is he dealing with that? That's what I was interested in that part. So that's why I asked him. Let's take a listen.
Questions in quickly. Question goes to Jeff Lightsy.
Hey, Coach Prime, I understand, just going back on the question that you were asked earlier, you said you've been prime for a long time, but your team, your program haven't always been prime or Deion Sanders. I just want to know, how do you prevent all the rumors that are circulating around your name, prevent it from hurting your team going into this week or your program and recruiting and things like that?
Our team has been good since we've been here. We've been good. So I disagree with you with that. We've been good since we've been here.
That's true. They have been very, very good. They haven't been Deion Sanders, though, but they've been very, very good. Let's continue listening.
We focus, man. Like we're dialed in. We have some really good coaches and guys that have been to the highest level of football. And we know how to focus our kids. We know how to make sure our kids are watching enough film. We know how to make sure our kids understand their alignment and assignments to another level. We know how to run a practice. At this point in practice, it don't involve a lot of contact. We want to keep them fresh and fast. We know the finer things to do because we've done them as a player, and we've been to those mountaintops and Super Bowl runs and understanding how do you focus with everybody screaming about a Super Bowl, everybody screaming about a darn World Series. I think they got the right coach, don't you? You see how I paused there and let you kind of grasp the thing? I think they got the right coach.
Thing dude is the smoothest in the building. I think he is the smoothest dude in the business of college football. I think dude is, the way he handled those questions was very, very smooth, very, very poetic, very, very like on brand. It was very Deion Sanders. It was smooth. It was poetic. If you want to get in here, 727-731-8723. It was very much Deion Sanders, the way he handled all of that. But what it did do was still leave the door open. Like the songs, I'm going to leave the door open. He left the door open for Colorado, and that's why I believe this next week of football is very, very important. Why is it very important? Okay, so you have to think in the eyes of Deion Sanders. You have to think in the eyes of a college football coach. And we got someone calling in. I'll get to my point. I do want to hear from you guys because I'm just very, very curious on what you all have to say. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
You got someone calling in. I'll get to my point. Hey, Jeff, this is Gabriel from Jackson, and I'm Memphis, Tennessee. How you doing tonight?
What's going on, Gabriel? What's on your mind?
Okay. All right. So yeah, Deion did leave the door open. Like the song say. My thing is this right here. You made this point, and somebody else made this point on another YouTube channel. Was saying basically when a team or the school makes an offer, when they put it out there like that, it's generally accepted.
Absolutely.
So why is he dragging his feet? That's my thing. Now, he did a local interview months ago, and he was saying, they asked him, so Deion, if you went to Jack State, what could you see yourself doing? And he said, coaching at a Power 5 school. Colorado's a Power 5 school, right?
Absolutely, it is.
So why is he dragging his feet?
It might not be the right fit. That's a good question. That's a great question.
There you go. All right, that's all I wanted to say, man.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you calling in. Be sure to call again. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, no. Why is he dragging his feet? That's a very good question. You normally don't hear about jobs being offered and not accepted. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Yes, sir. My name is Richard, and I'm actually from Jackson, but I live in the D.C. area now.
What's going on, Richard?
I actually know they got Gabe.
Okay.
He's a huh?
I said, what's going on? What's on your mind?
Oh, well, so it's a couple of, I guess. So how can I say this? Easy. When you are giving somebody a message, and we know motivation is the best inspiration to get some people to follow you, right? The best leaders in history have done that. And you have motivated a whole culture, not just Jackson State, but HBCUs. I've seen more people up in this DC area that goes to Howard or went to Howard or Morgan State or Bowie State, and they and they say Deion Sanders speaks for us, right? Yeah. So, right. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I've seen more pride in HBCUs than I've seen in a long time. When I moved up here, I would say I went to Jackson State, and they said, Jackson, what? Where is that? They say, is that Jacksonville, Florida? Yeah. I said, no, that's in Mississippi. And then what part of Mississippi? I said Jackson.
Absolutely.
Now they know it.
Yeah.
So saying that, kind of get to my point.
I got you.
Is right. I know. So saying that, you not only built it up, but you got your 4 of your 5 kids at Jackson State, enrolled at Jackson State. You got your son, the quarterback, that could have went to almost any school. He was a 4-star.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't even ask his son. His son came to him and said, do you want to discuss this after he accepted a job at Jackson State? He came there for the mission.
Absolutely.
He came there for the situation to make a change because your dad, who you love and you believe in, was doing something greater than himself. Absolutely. Then your son that went to PWI, South Carolina, transferred down because Dad, I support you in this.
Yes, he did.
He could have stayed in South Carolina.
Absolutely.
Then his daughter comes down.
We got you.
And play basketball.
I got you. So where are we going? Where we going with it? We got a few more calls.
So my point is, and even Travis Hunter, right? Do something great, something different, historic. What does that mean if you leave? What does that mean for all those 4-stars that came down that everybody believes you? What does that mean if you leave like now? Is it about money? Is it about, oh well, this was a stepping stone, and I gave y'all a bag of nothing, just a bunch of hot air? What does it mean if you leave? Because the mission isn't finished right now. It's not about this man getting a better job, more money, or assistant coaches. Well, I think that's a small amount of. This is about what I mean. You have your own flesh and blood to move down there based on your mission. You got those students there. HBCUs enrollment across the board are up.
It is.
I mean, it's crazy.
It is. I understand. I appreciate your call. I got to get to some of these other calls, but I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. No, and that is very true. But maybe to him, his mission is complete. Like, we don't know. Like, we just don't know. And maybe he feels like he's done his job. What's going on? You're on with Jeff. Hello. Hello. All right, look like we gotta move on. But yeah, like I was saying, I mean, maybe he feels like his mission is complete. Like you just never know. You honestly, you have no idea. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Hello, Willie Bowman.
What's going on, sir? What's on your mind?
Hello. I agree with the guy who was just on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
yeah.
The thing is, you got to ask yourself, what is Deion Sanders' number one priority?
And what is that to you? I mean, only he can answer that.
His number one priority is his children.
Absolutely.
And until Shador gets drafted or graduates college, he ain't going nowhere. His number one priority. Because he's not going to uproot his kids again.
Possibly. I mean, we just, I feel that way too. But hearing him today on the press conference didn't make me feel more secure in that thinking. But I appreciate the call. I got to get to some of the other calls, but I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No, I feel that exact same way. It's just the answer that I heard today on that press conference may not fit that same bill. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
I feel that.
Oh, look like they hung up. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, this is Rochelle. How you doing?
How you doing, Miss Rochelle?
Hey, I'm going to be straight to the point. I've
Yes,
been
ma'am.
following Deion for a long time, and one thing Deion has is his word. And if you just always listen to what he said he accepted the collect call, and he knew money was not going to be what he was going to miss out on. So if you listen to him, you don't think for a minute that Deion has already told his boys, because he already know this is a mental block for them, and they have the finals. So you don't think he's already told them that he's not going? Come on, y'all. They're not kids, and they know that that's emotional, and that's going to be on their mind. So I believe in all good situations, ain't nothing about y'all putting black people. No, he would not do those kids that way for the simple reason that was going to distract them from playing on their finals, and then they got the next game over. So I'm telling you now, those boys already know that he's not going to accept this, just like his coaches do. That's why they've been so quiet. I'm done. That's it. That's all.
Hey, I appreciate it, Miss Rochelle. I appreciate the call. Be sure to call again.
All right.
Thank you. I mean, valid, very valid points. I mean, they're still out on the recruiting trail. They're still doing everything valid. What's going on? You're on with Jeff. Hello. Well, you'll have to call back. So just I want to touch on what Miss Rochelle said, because it was interesting. She said that he's already told the team that he's staying, what she believes, right? Like, obviously we don't know this. And that is, I mean, those are valid points, because, and the reason why, now somebody made some fun of some of the folks are saying, hey, y'all putting God into it, only black folks. Well, it makes sense to do that, because Prime has always put God into it. Right? Prime has always said, I accepted the call from God. I took this from God. I got this from God. Blah, God came to me. So it makes sense for the fandom to have that same response. It makes sense for the fandom to have that same, to feel that same kind of way. It makes sense for the fans. If you're a fan of Deion Sanders, if you're a fan of Jackson State, if you're an alumni of the school, of course you're going to put God into it, because he put God into it. He said God tasked him with this task of raising the level of competition at HBCUs, of raising the profile of Jackson State and other HBCUs. That come from Prime himself. That ain't just something the fans are making up. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Hey, what's going on, Jeff? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
How's it going? Let's see the way. Thanks for opening up the lines. I just came in, so I didn't get the full cast, so forgive me if I misquote or say something. I'm just kind of reading the title. And I know that's all commercial, you know what I'm saying? I know that's all business to have a catchy title to make people just click on and say, but what facts do we have here? Do we have a acceptance? Jesus was tempted and offered the world and everything in it on the top of the mountain by the devil. Was there an acceptance letter? Was there an acceptance speech?
No, sir, there was not.
I'm just asking.
No, sir, there was not.
Okay,
so I'm answering.
So all that is all this innuendo is just what it is, innuendo. there has been nothing definite to come out of the man's mouth to point toward him not being at Jackson State for this foreseeable future, right?
No, I wouldn't go that far. I would, but if you have an offer on the table and he confirmed that, because at first it was just speculation, but now he has a confirmed offer on the table, that means he can accept it. It doesn't mean he has. And typically, when you're offered by Power 5 jobs, you accept them immediately. You just don't hear about the offer. You hear about the coach being hired. See Luke Fickell at Wisconsin, or see Hugh Freeze at Auburn.
Right.
You know, so I'm agreeing with you on that. I'm agreeing with you on that.
Right. Even though nobody's watching those coaches like Coach Prime is being watched. Like,
very true.
You know,
very true.
what he ate for dinner is on somebody's video, you know what I'm saying, on somebody's platform.
That's very true.
So I get that point. He's very vocal. He's very, you know, visible. But my thing is that I think a few weeks ago, it might have been before the it might have been before the Campbell game, he said, "Hey, I will entertain."
Yeah, he said it on game day.
Offers.
He said it on college game day. You're right.
I did hear that out of his mouth.
Yes,
he
right.
will entertain offers. Now, like I said, Jesus listened to the devil and let him get his proposition off. And that was the devil.
Absolutely, man.
But is there any concrete? Yeah, let's let him entertain, because that builds his market value. That also keeps Jackson State as a city, as a government, and as a learning institution on their heels. That's it.
I appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call. All valid points. I have a rebuttal though to some of the it keeps Jackson State relevant type of talk. I have a rebuttal, but I want to hear from you. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, I'm from Mississippi, bro. I'm from Jackson, bro.
All right, what's going on, boss man? Pretty good. What's going on?
The thing about it is, people need to understand. If he do accept a job with all the sponsorship, with paper routes, you got all these celebrities coming in. If he go to Colorado, he won't be able to do that. You get what I'm saying?
About that. You're right about that. I agree.
And the question is, will Shador come in and take a job? Will Shiloh be able to get some playing time? Because he might have a say-so, but think about it. We're talking about a Power 5 school. So people got to look at how his children and his sponsorships and the people that actually support the HBCU. You got Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross, would they support him still? They probably would, but they won't be able to come in and do what they done.
I agree. I'll agree. Even if you accept the Colorado job, it will not look like Jackson State. I agree. Completely.
But the thing, and one more thing I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna get up off here.
Yes, sir.
You got a 1-11. Got a 1-11 team, right? So therefore, now he got to bring in 5 and 6 star players instead of 3 and 4 star players to compete with USC and Notre Dame and all of them. So you talking 3 years? You talking 3 years? He don't turn the organization around. He fired. Now he got a bad name on himself.
Very valid. All valid.
People got to think about that. But I'm gonna go back in and chat, man. I just appreciate you for letting me up, man. People got to think about all that. He could take the job, but it's a lot come with that job, especially in Colorado. You got to think about everything that plays out.
Yeah.
But all is well.
You're right about that, man. Well I appreciate you calling.
All right, man. I appreciate him for bringing SWAC back to business, but it's gonna be a lot if he take that job. He gonna have problems. I promise you that. And that's for real.
You ain't lying. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate it though. But like you said, it's going to be interesting. Now, here's my rebuttal, right? To some of the folks. If you want to call in there's the call-in number. Don't forget the sponsor of the video is 15 for 8. 15 for 8. Get you a hat like this one. Get you a hat like this. Or over there, Southern FAMU, they got all the things on there. 15for8.com. 15for8.com. Promo code HBCU Love. Now, here's my rebuttal though. So here's the things you also have to think about if you're Deion Sanders and you turn down a Colorado job, right? Here is some of the things you may, and it may or may not matter, right? But if you turn down a Colorado job, other programs may be hesitant to offer you in the future. Now, if you're a JSU fan, to hell with the other programs. You don't want them to offer them in the future, right? But if you're Deion Sanders, or if you're a Deion Sanders assistant, or in a Deion Sanders coaching staff, or whatever, you don't want the Power 5 offers to stop. But if you continue to turn down Power 5 offers, like after you get an interview with TCU, maybe you turned it down, maybe they didn't want you. I don't know. After you get an interview with Colorado State, maybe you turned it down, maybe they didn't want you. I don't know. But those are reports that the offers are out, or that the reports that the interviews took place. You got a South Florida. Maybe you got an offer, maybe you didn't. I don't know. But if you continue to turn down Power 5 offers, they will not continue to come calling. Now, maybe you're Deion Sanders, maybe they do. But typically, if you're a guy in the Power 5 sphere or in the Power 5 coaching sphere, a lot of times they don't like being told no. These are high-profile people, people with big egos, whether it's your athletic director at Colorado, your school president at Colorado, your administration at Colorado, or South Florida, same, or whoever. They don't like being told no. And so if you continue to hear no from one person, folks ain't going to be too happy about that. Folks aren't going to be too happy. Now, maybe if you're Deion Sanders, maybe you're able to make that work, but you also have to think too, a lot of these programs want coaches with longevity, coaches that have something to coach for a long period of time, meaning they want a guy that they think can be there for 10 plus years. Well, if Coach Prime continues to tell Jobs no, and he's 55, that's not old, but it ain't young when it comes to coaching. Arizona State just hired a guy that's 30, right? Coaches are getting younger, not older. And not to say Prime's old. He's not old at all. But the thing is, they're going younger and younger. And they just hired a 30-year-old at Arizona State. Look at the NFL. All the top coaches that get hired are from the McVay tree, who's also in his 30s, right? And so that's something to think about if you're Deion Sanders. Obviously, he knows that. He knows that he can't continue, or at least history would say, he can't continue to tell folks no. Right. But maybe because he is Coach Prime and he has been able to do some remarkable things at JSU, will that translate to a Colorado? Would that translate to a South Florida? Would that translate to a Colorado State? That is something we all have to consider. You can call in 727-731-8723, 727-731-8723. I'm interested to see how you guys feel about that. Some of the things I'm saying, I'm in the chat. This is A.D. Robinson hired Coach Prime for longevity. Yes, he did. He did, though. See, and that's the difference between these other programs and a guy like Ashley Robinson, the SWAC in Jackson State. See, they hired Coach Prime before it was cool, right? Deion Sanders has always been cool, but folks didn't always know if he could coach, right? He did his thing at Trinity Christian, but doing his thing at Trinity Christian and doing your thing at a Division I FCS football team in this short amount of time, two totally different things. But the thing that Coach Prime did from the jump that gave him a head start over any other guy that's been in the position that he's in, he hired a bomb coaching staff. Now, granted, he had to go out and get the players, right? Like, that matters, right? Like, going out and getting the players, that's the most important thing. If you don't have the players, it don't matter how good of a coach you are. Every great coach had great players. That's just how the thing works. But he hired a bomb coaching staff, starting with Dennis Thurman. It starts and ends with Dennis Thurman when it comes to Jackson State. Because one thing Jackson State has been able to hang their hat on since Deion Sanders has been the head coach is the fact that they've had one of the best, if not the best defense in the entire FCS. Not just the SWAC, not just HBCU football, the entire FCS during his duration. They led the nation in sacks last year. They were leading the nation in sacks until Southern had 7 sacks in the Bayou Classic, right? So they've had the number one defense the last 2 falls running, right? Then you add the fact that those same coaches that can coach their tail off can also recruit their tail off. When you go out and get guys like Aubrey Miller from the transfer portal, Shane Hooks from the transfer portal, Shiloh Sanders, right? Go out and get a Travis Hunter, a Kevin Coleman, a transfer like Savion Wilkerson. All of that makes a world's amount of difference. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Nancy.
What's going on? What's on your mind?
Hi, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
That's good. I was listening to your show about Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
And I'm a retired teacher, and I'm 67 years old, and Coach Prime has given me wisdom and everything else, a lot of things to think about, for as my life and everything. So I could imagine, what he's doing to his players. But, Coach Coach Sanders is not going to give anybody any answer until God tells him to. And because he's a God-fearing man, and he knows that God put him there at JSU, and if it's meant for him to be there, he's going to stay there. If he meant for him to leave there, he's going to leave. But he's not going to answer to anyone but God. That's how much of an anointed man he is. And I'm so very proud of Coach Prime, his staff, and the players. I just love myself some Jackson State University, and I'm from Florida. That's the thing.
Mhm.
I'm in Gator Nation. I'm in Gator Nation, but I love myself some Coach Prime. And I just wish him all the blessings that God is going to continue to bestow upon him. You know, everybody could say what they want to, but God is going to tell this man what to do. No one else.
Amen.
And I know that
Absolutely.
in my heart.
Absolutely. Well, I
And thank you
appreciate
so much
calling in.
for, you're welcome. And thank you for answering the phone for me.
Hey, thank you so much, Miss Nancy. I appreciate it. Be sure to call again. Now, here's the thing, because I see a lot of people like, oh, the YouTube guys just looking for something to talk about. The YouTube guy. No, guy, like, yo, we have to address this. This isn't something that we're just making up. If you're tuning in late, if you're just now joining us, first of all, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Second of all, I'm going to play the audio once again of Coach Prime himself saying that he was offered a job. Now, when the biggest superstar in your conference is offered a Power 5 job, it's worth talking about. There's no other way around it. When Deion Sanders, who has changed completely the way we look at HBCU football, whether you're an old head or a newbie like me, he has changed the game. Commissioner McClellan said it himself. He didn't say Deion Sanders done it, but he said we've recorded over the last 2 years record attendance, record revenue, record media marketing deals, all kinds of stuff, record sponsors, record core, all of that stuff. That coincides directly with the arrival of Deion Sanders. So if he gets a job offer from a place like Colorado, which we know is in the Pac-12, which has bigger facilities, more money, more resources, all this stuff. Now, it's cold as hell. It's cold as hell, and it's a bad job, in my opinion. It's a bad job. It's a place where a lot of coaches' careers go to die. Colorado hasn't been relevant since the 80s and the 90s. I wouldn't, in no way in hell would I take it. But that's not me. It's not my job to take. They didn't offer me the job. They offered him the job. Now, let me play the question once again. This is by Kendrick Marshall. Shout out to Kendrick. This is via the pregame show. Shout out to the pregame show. This is fair use. But this is what Prime, hold on. Let me make sure the audio, because we had some audio issues earlier today. This is what Prime had to say about being offered the job, which he said not really a whole lot. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, Coach. Over the weekend, Pete Thamel with Fox Sports reported that Colorado had made you an offer to become their next head coach.
Mm-hmm.
How true is their report, and is there any mutual interest between you and the school?
Yeah, definitely. The report is true. They're not the only ones. The report is true. I'm not going to sit on here and tell all my business, but they're not the only ones. And I would be a liar if I told you they didn't. You know they did. I know they did. Everybody there know they did. So it is.
That was so funny to me. I don't know. He's like, you know they did. I know they did. Everybody know they did. I just thought that was funny.
What it is. That's not my focus right now. My focus is to win and to be dominant, and then to not even to go on to the Celebration Bowl. My focus is right here in this beloved stadium to be dominant on Saturday. That's my focus, and I keeps the main thing, and everyone that knows me know that about me. I have an innate ability to focus and keep the main thing.
Now shout out to Coach Prime. So what that answer did for me, one was, and it was really, I'm really selfishly, I'm glad if he does happen to take the Colorado job, you get in here on the phone. By the way, I'm answering all phone calls. Hold on, we got one on the line. Sorry about that for making you wait. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
I'm glad if he does happen to take the Colorado job.
Hello.
Get in here on the phone.
Hello.
Hey, you're on with Jeff. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm calling about Coach Prime.
Yes, I'm listening.
And let me just turn this down.
Can you cut your computer down in the background a little bit? But
I just turned it down.
Okay.
First of all, I'm from Barbados, and I grew
Wow.
up in London. But I loved Deion Sanders when he played. I love him even more now that he is
now that he's Coach Prime. I follow JSU. Coach Prime said he came there because he was sent there on a mission. He knows that he hasn't completed it. He's not a quitter. He's staying at JSU because his impact is going to be wider than that. Other HBCUs, entertainers, the people that he's been exposing these players to, is a world and a wealth of education. And it's going to spread to them. It's going to spread to the entertainers, the sponsors, other leaders. And it would not stop at JSU. And I think he knows that. You know, Deion has always thought big. So anything he do is going to be big. He's going to make a splash, and it's not just going to be at JSU. He wants this for our communities and for HBCUs. That's his service and his way of giving back. What do you think?
I agree with you. I definitely, and I hope that is the case. I think that has been the case up until so far. I appreciate the call. We got some other people, but thank you so much for calling in. Be sure to call again.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, here's the thing. I just want to, we're all chatting, and shout out to you guys. We're in here real heavy. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. So let's chat. Let's throw out some hypotheticals out there, right? Right? Like, because I keep hearing, and this is rightfully so, because Prime said it himself, is that he was called by God and he's not going to leave until his calling is fulfilled and all of that stuff. And all of that is very true, because these are words that he used himself, right? We're holding him to the standard that he set for himself. And every time folks ask him about the success he's had at JSU, it's like, yo, I expected it. I didn't expect nothing less. And all of that is great. And that's why, that's why we gravitate towards Prime, because he keeps it like it is. He's a straight shooter, all of that. But what if I say this, right? Because folks will say he's not leaving because he's not done. He's not leaving because his mission isn't accomplished. He's not leaving because of X, Y, and Z. And you give your reasons. And I agree with a lot of them. I kind of feel the exact same way. But it's not me that has to agree with him. It's him that has to agree with it. And think about the things that have happened with Jackson State and what's happened with the SWAC. And caller, I'm going to get to you. I know you're on the line. But think about the things that has happened with him and Jackson State since he arrived. You're talking about new media rights deals. You're talking about new corporate sponsors. You're talking about global fans that may or may not have ever heard of HBCU football, of Jackson State, of the SWAC. All of that has come through. You've seen big-time head coaches take jobs and directly say they took their job because of Deion Sanders, right? All of this has happened. Now, granted, he hasn't been there very long. It's only for 3 short years. But in those 3 years, the impact that he has made will be felt for the next 30, right? The impact that he's made may be felt for the next 300 in just what he's been able to do in 3 short years. So maybe his calling has been filled. Have you ever thought about that? That's something to think about if you're a JSU fan, and maybe why the next week is going to be very, very interesting. What's up? You're on with Jeff.
Yes, how you doing, Jeff? My name is Jesse. I'm from Fort Myers.
What's going on, Jesse?
Everything is going right. One of the things as I was listening to your show is that a lot of people are missing the point. The point is that what the meteorology, everything that Prime had brought to the state of Jackson, what the other teams are doing. You know, there's going to come a time he is going to leave, but the thing is, what are you doing to keep this everything going? And I'm listening to so many negativity, but yet still he's not the savior. He just came here to be a part. What are you going to do now? And I don't see nobody answering that question. What is Jackson State offering him now to keep him there?
It's a good question. That is a question only Ashley Robinson and the folks at JSU can answer. But that's all valid, sir. You absolutely right.
And the thing is, not only that, but I think Deion going to end up staying. I think because he ain't finished the job yet. But I'm hoping that he does. But if he don't, JSU got to continue to go forward.
You're right about that,
and
sir.
One of the things they must understand is they need to see the SWAC need to make changes. They're not ready for the changes. You know, I heard, I think you said, or someone other YouTuber said that only 3 teams that doing the social media. What about the other schools? What are you doing to build your program? And then, you know, if I would have been coaching, I would have got with Deion and sat down and said, hey, now give me your format. Let me work with you.
Absolutely.
And none of those people did.
Absolutely.
But
I agree with you. I appreciate the call in, though, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Yeah. No, all valid. Very valid. I mean, these are things you got to think about when you're at a place. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
I read it for the changes. I heard
Hello?
What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Hey, is it okay if we call twice? Because I've already
go for
called.
it, man. I'm listening. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay. I have a question.
Yeah, what's
this
up?
may be on or off topic, but it's still Coach Sanders. Hey, why isn't anybody, and this may be for Jackson, Mississippians specifically, hey, why are y'all holding this man to a standard that y'all not holding these black politicians to? Because it shouldn't take Coach Prime for y'all to have clean water. Y'all, if y'all put the energy that y'all put into Coach Prime, into these black political figures that's sitting here taking your vote and not giving you anything back, I think everywhere could be SWAC country. Everybody could have clean. It shouldn't take Coach Prime to bring attention to the city's needs without the city being vocal and being number one in that position. That's all. Why are we talking about Coach Prime and not Brett Favre being involved in his second scandal involving Mississippi welfare and TANF benefits?
Hey, I appreciate the call in, man. Appreciate it. I think folks in Mississippi are definitely talking about Brett Favre. I will say that. I don't know about everything else, but all of that is true. All of that is true. And part of what the problem with not just Jackson State, but all HBCUs, and we can dive into it since he kind of brought it up a little bit, is that those, not necessarily just the black politicians, but just politicians everywhere, have undercut and underfunded the HBCUs, and therefore it makes it difficult when you have a star in the coaching ranks or in the sporting world or whatever, like a Deion Sanders, that has to entertain an offer from Colorado, right? Like, why can't Jackson State be able to afford a Deion Sanders or afford his assistants to keep them around for 10, 15, 20 years? Why can't this be his forever home? Or could it be his forever home? What does it take for the SWAC to, not just Jackson State, because we're not limited to just Jackson State, but what will it take for the SWAC as a conference and their 12 institutions to be forever homes for their coaches, especially if they have a superstar at one? Right? Like, what will it take for them to have the adequate resources to then resource and give the adequate resources to their football and sporting programs, along with the universities, to make the big time figures like the Deion Sanders of the world and the Willie Simmons at FAMU of the world, who will continue to get interest because he's very, very good. And all of those stay there for the long run, the 10, the 15, the 20, the 25 years as a forever head coach. That's an interesting question. It's something you definitely have to take that into consideration. I mean, all of that makes sense, because if Jackson State had the money, or if the SWAC had the money, had the resources, this wouldn't even be a conversation. He wouldn't have to entertain those other jobs. He wouldn't have to entertain those Power 5 offers. He would be ready and content with the current situation that he's in. So, I mean, it's definitely something to think about. What's going on, caller? You're on with Jeff.
Lois.
What's going on? What's on your mind?
All right. So my question is, when did this all come about these offers being made to Coach Prime? Well, let me back that up. Let's look at the bigger picture here.
Yes.
If we were to really get down to the nitty-gritty of this, all of this foolishness didn't start until he flipped Travis Hunter. Nothing was said about Coach Prime going to another school or anything to that effect. They are basically mad because Travis Hunter flipped to a black university, and now what they're trying to do is throw a monkey wrench, saying that, okay, maybe since we can't get Travis the way we want it, let's go after Prime. If Prime leaves, that means the entire team has to go. All these black boys, high-profile black boys that he recruited, that means they're going to go after him. So, people really have to look at the bigger picture, and it's more than talking about money. Prime don't need the money.
You're right.
And people need to realize that. He do not need the money.
Absolutely.
So that's my take on it.
No, absolutely. I appreciate the call. I just want to say to that, and thank you so much. We're in here really heavy, man. Shout out to you guys. Hit that thumbs up button, by the way. Hey, and if you like this Grambling hat and this JSU hat I have right here, be sure to go over to 15freight.com, 15freight.com, and put the promo code HBCU Love 15. That's just the number 15 freight.com, and put in the promo code HBCU Love. Now, here's the thing. We know Prime doesn't need the money. He stated that. He already said his lifestyle wouldn't change, but the reason why he would even consider and entertain these offers is to make sure his assistants get paid. And his assistants can't get paid because Jackson State doesn't have the resources, and Jackson State doesn't have the resources because HBCUs have historically been undercut and underfunded for years, for example. And then it goes into, and I could get really political with this, and I don't want to, but I want to touch on it a little bit. Did you guys see that interaction between President Dr. Glenda Glover of Tennessee State University and the Tennessee State, or the state of Tennessee, like their Congress, right? They basically asked her, this is a HBCU president, right? They basically said, like, yo, why are you guys taking so many black students away from the PWIs, right? Why are y'all taking so many black students away from Tennessee, away from UT Chattanooga, away from Middle Tennessee, et cetera, et cetera? Crazy. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing? This is Ward calling from Raleigh, North Carolina.
What's going on?
I just nothing much, man. I'm just thank you for having this conversation, because it needs to be addressed. Like the caller just said, no one said anything till he flipped Travis Hunter, and now they're scared because everyone else is coming. He's putting out tweets like you mentioned last week. You know, hey, he ain't hard to find. Then we got the other coaches and other schools buying in, and we just also as HBCUs, because I'm an Aggie, we have to contribute. Traditionally, we don't have the funds like the PWI, but we have to contribute to keep these good coaches here. And that's my biggest thing, because I am mad that we as Aggies, we left the MEAC to go to the Colonial. And we're going to see now next year how much money plays into effect, because these other PWIs are not going to take losses from A&T and Hampton on a consistent basis. So we will see that. But I'm going to get out the call and listen to other calls. But thank you, Jeff, for keeping this conversation going.
Hey, I appreciate you calling in, man. Be sure to call again. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. These are conversations you have to have, whether they're fortunate. Now, Mark Wall, he's my favorite because a lot of his predictions be right, and I hate to admit it, but it do. So we got unfinished business. We got a legendary class coming in, top 50 class. We going undefeated again next year. Now, let's go undefeated this year first. You still got Southern this Saturday in the SWAC championship game. I will be in attendance, by the way. I will be in Jackson, Mississippi for the game on Saturday. I got my credentials approved. I'm all set to go. Shout out to Andrew Roberts of the SWAC office. Got that going. I'll actually be there on Friday. So if you guys have any suggestions or anything, where to eat, where to go, to hang out or whatever, let me know in my Instagram or on my Twitter. These are my Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. And I kind of want to talk about, let me get to this call, but I do want to talk about that recruiting class, because I think that could play into a factor. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Cleo.
What's going on, Cleo?
Ain't nothing to it, Jeff. How you doing?
Hey, I'm pretty good. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm a Jackson State fan also. I live in Mississippi. I listened to the interview that they gave Deion, and I was kind of, I don't know, it's kind of mixed up. And if you listen to the part to where he says that he's not worried about, he's focusing on Saturday night, and he's not worried about the Celebration Bowl either. It seems like to me that he's going to make a decision after this championship game Saturday night, or early part of next week, because I think they start the polo on the 5th of December.
Absolutely.
And so that I think that what's got to happen is, if he want to stay ahead of that, he would have to know where he's going to be, because the people that he recruit is going to want to know where he's going to be.
Absolutely.
And so I think that what's going to end up happening is after the game Saturday, I believe he's going to make an announcement saying where he's going to be. Now, I hope that he doesn't go, but what gets me is that it seems like to me that Jackson State hadn't made any type of effort to try to even keep him there.
Ooh,
You know, and you know, and that's worse.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one, but I appreciate your call, though. I appreciate it, but I am going to address what you said because I'm not so sure about that one. Appreciate the call.
Right. Well, I hope.
Oh, shoot, I didn't mean to cut him off. My bad. But just, let's talk about the Jackson State aspect, right? We don't know what conversations are being had. Well, at least I don't. Let me not, because some of y'all know more than me. I don't know what conversations are being had. I just know what is being told to me, what's being reported. And I kind of decipher the BS from the real, or at least I try to best decipher the BS from the real. But here's what we do know. We do know that he has at least one job offer from Colorado and probably multiple from South Florida, whoever, right? That's what we do know. We do know that he said he is narrowly focused on the SWAC championship game, which takes place this Saturday. We do know. We will know whether he is going to be the head coach of Colorado by December 5th, simply because of some of the reasons Cleo stated. One, there's been reports that the Colorado AD wants to have a head coach to go into the portal because this is a 1-11 team. They're going to have to deep dive into the portal to get their players. And the same thing that Jackson State does, they deep dive in the portal. So we will know by next week whether he's taking the job. What's going on here with Jeff?
Hey, Jeff.
What's going on?
Hey, man, just wanted to say that, you know, it'll be jacked up if, you know, Prime leaves, but, you know, everybody got to do what they got to do. But just keep up the good work, man, and, you know, keep moving.
Hey, I appreciate the call, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yes. And then let's see, we got somebody else on. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Appreciate it. Julian.
What's going on? What's on your mind?
What's up, Jeff?
What's going on? What's on your mind?
Hey, man, I just want to give my opinion. So
yeah.
This is I've been listening and I've been looking and I've been, you know, just taking in everything that's going on. This is my analyzation of the situation. I truly believe that all this everybody wants Prime, this college wants Prime, is a plot to sow confusion in the mind of upcoming recruits and of players that are in high school and the transfer portal to offset their thinking, to give them a little bit of confusion, to sway them to say, oh, Prime might be leaving, where there's no reason for me to go to HBCU no more. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is, because Prime, he interviewed for some of these same type of jobs and they didn't want him then. I think and I'm gonna try to say this as nice as I can, I think the white power structure of the college football system is absolutely nervous and scared of the attention, the draw, and the just the aura of Prime being in HBCU football, drawing our players back home to where they are originally from and where they should be. I don't think any of these Power Fives really want him. They just want to get him away from HBCU to make sure that not any more players go to HBCUs. You see what I'm saying? I think it's the confusion plot that they're doing.
I get what you're saying, man. Hey, I appreciate the call. You make some valid points. Thank you for calling in.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you. So he makes some valid points. So he said that he feels that these places don't really want Deion Sanders and that they're only creating this stuff in the news because they want to prevent the recruits from coming in. And here's where I'll push back on that, because I can see where you can make that assumption, right? But I don't agree with that. I don't think that's completely true. And here's why. Part of it is because if he didn't want this stuff hanging over his team's head, hanging over his head, if he wasn't seriously considering these jobs, he'd come out and say, yeah, they offered, but I declined. I'm going to be the head coach of Jackson State for, the foreseeable future, right? He could put it all to bed, but he's choosing not to. He just said, we're singularly focused on the SWAC championship game, which is a good enough answer, because that's what the goal is, to win a championship, and the goal is to win this Saturday. And if he wanted to put that to bed and assure recruits on the trail, and maybe he is assuring recruits on the trail. I don't know. I'm not a recruit. I'm not being recruited by Jackson State or Deion Sanders. But he could straight up say, hey, they offered me the job. You know what everybody knows, like he said, and they go on to say, I declined it. I'm here to be the head coach of Jackson State for the foreseeable future. But he chose not to do that. And and it's his prerogative. He can choose to answer the questions however he wants. But when you do answer the questions the way he did, then that allows doubt to still creep into the heads of some of the other folks around the campus, the fans, or whoever out in the public. Right? That's my only thing on that. But I completely agree. I think it could. Now, when he said the NCAA is scared of Deion Sanders, absolutely. They are scared of what Deion Sanders could do, but mainly at Jackson State. They wouldn't be scared of what Deion Sanders could do with Colorado, and that's no offense to Colorado, and that's no shot at Prime. But the impact that Prime could make at Colorado, even if he made them a national power, right, it wouldn't be the same as doing it at Jackson State. It wouldn't be, even if he made South Florida a national power, TCU, who's now in the playoff, or Colorado State or whoever. Even if he made those schools a national power, it would not be the same as making an HBCU a national power, even if it's on the FCS level. Getting Travis Hunter to go to a Colorado or South Florida would be interesting, but it wouldn't have led every single sports station like it did when he chose Jackson State. Getting Travis Hunter to choose South Florida, Colorado wouldn't have led every single sports television show like it did when he chose Jackson State and whoever could be coming in this recruiting class. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Yes, sir. What's going on with you? What's on your mind?
Oh, well, not only the white power structure trying to get Coach Prime from Jackson State, you have a lot of black elitists trying to get in there also.
Why you say that?
Because you look at the Shannon Sharps, the Charles Barkley, they are giving margin orders what to do. Jackson State could be our black Notre Dame. It could be black pride for everybody in black America, that this university, HBCU, can go up against Alabama, can go up against Mississippi State or Ohio State. And Deion Sanders himself is one of the most polarizing, prolific athletes of the 20th and 21st century. He walks in someone's home, he don't get their recruit because they see a reflection of themselves within him. And this man knows what it takes to get you to the next level. He's going to believe in these kids, and he's going to take care of these kids. First with education, he had the CEO of Armand to come speak today in Jizz. You know how big that is?
It is.
I mean, people see that's real major. And I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, why go to Colorado, South Florida? South Florida's not in a Power 5 conference. Colorado, the coach is not there. It's going to be hard to recruit kids from California, kids from the South not going out there. So I don't see no worries. Coach Prime will be there at least next year. I like the show, man.
Hey, I appreciate you calling in, sir. Be sure to call again. Appreciate it. Now, so he made sense. Because when you do, I did think this was interesting. So if you guys don't watch, and shout out to y'all, man, we in here real heavy. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, and subscribe. Now, one thing that I've noticed on Undisputed, and I don't know if you guys watch Undisputed or not, but you see Shannon Sharp saying, "Oh, Prime's gonna leave. Oh, Prime's gonna leave somewhere. We just don't know where." And I always thought that was interesting. Like, I really thought that was interesting that he's advocating, and Shannon's an HBCU grad, of Prime going somewhere else. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
What's going on with you?
Well, I just want to say I really think that Deion Sanders is in a point with the program that he's done all he could do with the program. And I think that Colorado and many other schools will want him simply because he's a great recruiter. Half the battle in college athletics is recruiting. That's all I got to say. Thanks.
Hey, that is a valid point. I appreciate it. And we brought up this point. We brought up this point earlier. Maybe Prime feels like his job has been accomplished. But one thing I want to show you guys, I saw this and I talked about this, and I see that they are still actively, I mean, obviously they're actively recruiting, but if Prime is considering leaving, and if he really has one foot out the door at Colorado, South Florida, or wherever, you wouldn't be able to tell from his assistants. You wouldn't be able to tell from the way his assistants are still very much active on social media, promoting the brand, promoting the school, promoting the game on Saturday. Like, I mean, this was just a few minutes ago. This is now, I don't know how closely you follow some of this stuff, but Tim Brewster, the tight ends coach, elite recruiter, ace recruiter on JSU staff, is still actively him and Dallas Daniels. What's the largest crowd ever at the Vet? Saturday is a day to break it. Standing room only. Hashtag beat Southern. You got then 15 minutes ago, let's pack the vet. He's retweeting Dallas Daniels. So, I mean, some of you might say, hey, that's business as usual. That's what you're supposed to do, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. But everybody don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Hugh Freeze, I could be wrong, but it was Hugh Freeze a couple of days ago tweeting stuff about, liberty. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just curious. Let me hear from some of you guys and see what you have to say. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Jeanette.
How's it going, Miss Jeanette? What's going on? What's on your mind?
Hey, I just have a couple of quick things. I am from Aurora, Colorado, which is a suburb of Denver.
Yes.
I wanted to say the culture in Colorado is not what people would think in the South and the East Coast. There is a Black population there. It is small, but it's growing. And it's Boulder, which is where CU is located. It's actually considered CU Boulder, for those who know, is a very beautiful place. And there won't be a recruiting issue of people from the South or California. We get them all the time. I hope that he stays in Jackson, but I would support him and Jackson State, whether he stays or goes. And that's the only comment I have.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate the call.
Have a good day.
All right, you too. Thank you so much. Now that is interesting because I knew nothing about Colorado. So I didn't know anything about who lived there, what the population's like, none of that. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, good evening. What's on your mind?
Let's clear the airway. Coach Prime never said he wouldn't entertain, but he never confirmed that he's leaving. We must understand he has children at JSU. He's not going to leave JSU to his daughter leave. He's building a foundation at JSU, not just men.
Absolutely. I agree that he is building a foundation, but we don't know if he won't leave before his daughter. I mean, that's just, honestly, we just don't know that. But I understand your point. I appreciate your call. Let's see if we get some more people in here. What's going on? You're on with Jeff. Hello.
Henry. How you doing?
What's going on with you, man? What's on your mind?
Man, I just calling to say, man, as a Jackson, Mississippi native, man, I don't think a lot of people are looking into Prime's family and what they have established in Jackson. We got his daughter. We got both sons. Well, we have our three sons. A lot of people don't know his oldest daughter does a lot of promoting around here in the clubs and the bars and everything. So this family loves this school, man. I just don't see him leaving yet. As we all know, Prime is a very family-oriented guy, and I don't think they're leaving at this moment. I think we got a couple of years left before they head out of here.
Hey, I appreciate the call, man. I surely do hope you're right, but I appreciate your call.
All right.
Appreciate it. No, I mean, that's very, very true. You make some good points. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Hey, Jeff, this is Dr. Sarah Walker, man.
How's it going,
man.
Dr.
How are you?
How are you? I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I enjoy all your shows. First off, I know you see me come in a lot on behalf of JSU.
Appreciate it.
But this is the thing. You and your lady, man. I try to come in and say how nice y'all looked the other day, man, for your birthday, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, happy belated birthday. But this is the thing. I know there's a lot of talk and speculation on Coach Prime leaving. Well, of course he's going to eventually leave, but this is my thing. I don't think, school like a Colorado, my own personal opinion, school like USF, those programs only won 2 games between the both of them this year. Do you realize?
That is a fact. That is a fact.
I don't understand what people say. Do y'all realize? I understand that he is the best recruiter. He is, no doubt about it. And his staff is phenomenal. I mean, he's a typical CEO with like a great CFO, COO. I'm a CFO myself, so absolutely. I understand.
Absolutely.
But this is my thing. I want people to think about from this standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
what if he does leave?
Mm-hmm.
You realize this big light that we have with HBCUs is probably going to dim just a tad.
That's
Just
an interesting point.
a tad.
That's an interesting point,
Just
Dr.
a
Walker.
tad. Just a tad bit, because we kind of worked these last 2.5 years to get that light. And me, I'm an HBCU graduate myself. PWI graduate myself, but undergrad I went to HBCU. Shout out to Tougaloo College for all of but anyway, I need people to look at it from that standpoint, because think about it. If he leaves and goes to a PWI now, the light is going to dim just a
That is an interesting
tad
topic.
bit.
It's an interesting take, Dr. Walker. I appreciate it. I got a few more people to get to, but I appreciate you calling in.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate it. Valid point Dr. Walker made. Dr. Walker made a valid point as far as what do you do if he decides to leave? Like, what do you do? What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Jeff, how you doing, sir? My name is Marlon Townsend. How are you doing? New subscriber to you. Love your show.
Sir. I appreciate it, sir. What's on your mind?
Prime is in his best interest to turn this down.
Okay.
Let me go back 3 years. Let me go back 3 years ago and quote Charles Barkley. Okay. Mm-hmm. Charles Barkley's a big football. He's a big football fan, huge Auburn fan. And his quote was, and he was right. He says, "Why do black coaches always have to take these dead-end jobs that people call a stepping stone jobs? There is no such thing as a stepping stone job in Division I football, especially for black coaches. When you look at the history of black coaches who have been fired, who have taken these dead-end jobs, who have been fired, very few of them have been given another opportunity. No one can deny that, Even the ones who have taken high-profile jobs. You take a look at what they did to Tyrone Willingham when he was at Notre Dame. Okay, then he got one more job after that in Washington. After that job, nobody else hired him. No one can deny this. You look at what happened with Coach Strong when he was down at Texas, at the University of Texas. These are all historical facts, okay? Now you look at the guy.
You look at the guy that got a couple more calls. We got to get to it though, but I appreciate you calling in. It's real loud in the background.
Oh, no problem. No, thank you.
Appreciate it. No, all very true. Ooh, it was real loud in the back of that one. I had to let that one go, but he was making good points. What's going on? You're on with Jeff.
Hey, how you doing, man? Can you hear me?
A little bit. You're a little muffled.
Okay, hold on a second. 1 minute.
I feel like.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we can hear you a lot better. What's going on with you? Yes, sir.
Hey, my name is Larry Johnson, man. Hey, listen, I'm calling from Rhode Island. I'm from Columbus, Mississippi by birth, though.
Okay.
But
what's on your mind,
my thing
Mr. Johnson?
is that I have been hearing about Deion leaving, and I got too much noise in the background, but I get right to the point. If he does leave, I mean, God bless him, but I certainly hope that he does stay because we could use him. And if he does leave, other black NFL players should step back and try to go to a HBCU and help their program out, man, because we're making everybody else rich but ourselves. I mean, what I'm saying is all of our talent is going elsewhere while we're starving, at a second and third class status. Man, we gotta help each other a little bit more. I'm talking about people that are in a position like Prime is, ex-NFL players, people with notoriety. They're well known. I mean, he could go to Walmart and say, look, we need help, Walmart. I'm saying that there's others out there that can do the same thing, That's all I'm saying. We have to stick up for each other. I love Prime, what he's doing. That was a revolutionary move. I hope he doesn't leave. But if he does, God bless him. Somebody else step right in and fill a void.
Hey, I appreciate you, Mr. Johnson. Thank you so much for your call. Be sure to call again.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And all very true, man. I mean, like we said it at the time, man. When Deion Sanders took the job at Jackson State, it was life-changing. It was a game changer. And just in those few years, we've seen how it's been a game changer. I mean, one of the things that I took away most from the SWAC presser was the revenue that Commissioner Charles McClellan talked about the SWAC teams and the SWAC institutions receive. He said the only way a SWAC school out of their 12 institutions that they have would leave is if they're leaving to go to a Power 5 conference, not the Sun Belt, not Conference USA, not the Big East, not nothing like that, because it wouldn't make financial sense. You make more money being in the SWAC than you would in some of those lower group of 5 conferences. The only way any of their institutions, and what that translated to me was the SWAC's making that bread now. They actually understand their worth. He spoke about that, and they understand that the trajectory that they are on is light years ahead of where they were 4 years ago when he took over. But a big part of that is the fact that they have Deion Sanders in their conference. If you lose a guy like Deion Sanders, you could be losing a lot, like drastically, a lot. I don't think, now here's my opinion. Do I think he's taking the Colorado job? No. I don't think he'll take the Colorado job. I think he still has more to accomplish at Jackson State. And I think we will have our answer in a week, right? We'll know very, very soon what his decision will be. We will know before the Celebration Bowl if he will be the coach in the Celebration Bowl, whether this will be his last game at Jackson State or whether this will be the last game of the SWAC conference, this season, right? Going into next season. I think he's still actively recruiting for JSU. I think he is still actively pursuing players. He is still looking at it now. Could we see shuffle of the coaching staff because of the success that they've had? Yes, I think that could be a possibility. But do I think Deion Sanders is changing his residence for next year to Boulder, Colorado, or to South Florida? No, I do not. I think he will continue to lead the reins at Jackson State University into the 23 season. But I've been wrong before. I just don't know. But I would love to see him continue to rock this JSU for at least another year. Thank you all for tuning in today for the Jeff Lightsy Jr. Show on the Victory Formation Show right here on Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button before you get out of here. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7, on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. I don't have any more calls. We've been on here for an hour. I want to say thank you, guys. I have some announcements coming out this week. Just stay tuned for that. Also, if you want your hat like this Grambling one, this Jackson State one, and we also got Southern, be sure to hit up our video sponsor, 15freight.com. That is 15freight.com. Use promo code HBCU Love to get a discount at checkout. HBCU Love at 15freight.com. If you would like to sponsor any video or anything like that, connect with me at JLightsy7 on Twitter and Instagram. Connect with me. I accept all messages. I respond to all messages and all comments. If you comment on the video, you know I respond. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. I'll see you guys next time.